We struggle with this, and every publisher is trying to figure out what to do with Tumblr. Who's doing a good job? What are some best practices? Are most media companies even using it? I don't even know.
Well, I wouldn't want to say most. I haven't. It's hard to quantify that anyway. But in terms of like ones that are using it, what's nice for me in terms of editorial, and when I was the last job that I had, I was working at Black Book Media, now Vibe, and I was an early exponent of getting Black Book onto Tumblr immediately because it's what's good about it is that with very little concern about the usual worries of maintaining a social media presence, if you're honest, with your intentions and what you expect to achieve from it, it's actually really satisfying because the brands and media outlets and others that have succeeded on Tumblr outside of the normal user community are those that have engaged with it honestly and tried to do something creative. And the ambition does not have to be global in scope. You don't have to have like a massive agency level approach. You can have someone on your staff who knows the voice and knows the community and is just interested in doing interesting things there. Very good examples of this, ways to focus on something very narrowly but really cool, are like, for example, the New York Times has what's called a morgue, which is their basement archives of everything. The pre-digital era goes back almost not quite 100 years. Just on this, kind of a fluke, rather a fling, they decided to start occasionally putting things from the archives onto a Tumblr and refer to it as the Lively Morgue. It's one of the more interesting Tumblrs that really takes almost nothing to maintain, but became very popular because it represents an access point into this giant brand that is very personal, but also is essentially unique in terms of what they're doing.
So the Times doesn't just like throw the whole today's paper on Tumblr, right? That's not a good idea.
That would be completely pointless.
So you got to do something different.
Yeah, and again, it's there's the scope of what people have done there varies widely. Movies have gone on there to do, like, for example, Game of Thrones, the HBO show, started a Tumblr recently that was purely focused on fan art and became hugely successful because that's obviously speaking directly to the community there. It's not about like putting episode recaps or assets from the television show on Tumblr because they feel like they have to have a Tumblr. The kind of reflexive reaction to feel like that you have to have a Tumblr is the exact opposite of what we want to encourage.